Hey guys, we're back at Cladkeeper's Garage and I've got a new project today. We've got a Bearcat model 70080 chipper shredder that needs repair. I just bought this machine last night on Facebook Marketplace, one of my new haunts, and the people that I bought it from said they got a problem with the belt's coming off the pulleys. The second time it's happened, the belt is all shredded up. So I got a pretty good deal on this, and I've actually wanted one. I need one for the garden, for Stoneham Farm, for my compost. So let's start to get into this thing. As you can see, I've already got some tools out, right? That's how I roll, right? Really anxious. I get out here with my coffee, and I want to start tearing into this thing. So, like I said, the people that I bought it from said they had a problem with the belt staying on the pulley, all right? So I took the liberty of taking off the pulley cover. And as you can see down in here, the belt is pretty well twisted up. It's off the shivs. Shiv is another formal name for pulley, right? The first thing I did was I looked at the alignments of the pulleys. And I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Let me come over here. I think you might be able to see it a little bit better. Can you see the alignment? Let me one up that. I'm going to go get a flashlight. Okay, so if you're looking at the two pulleys now, I'm at 180 degrees to these pulleys, and you can see the bottom pulley is over to the right, probably about 3/4 of an inch from this top pulley up here, right? Bottom, top. You see your belt all twisted in there. So yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Right? So the pulleys are in alignment. Now they don't have to be 100% perfect in alignment, although I've been known to use a straight edge across them to make sure that everything is as close to perfect as you can get it when you're lining up your pulleys. But this is obviously way off. Okay, so I think right off the bat we found the problem. So down here, this is the screen, right, where the material comes out of the machine. And I believe these are 1¼ inch holes in here. And you know, I was looking up in here, up top side, and the screen's got a little bit of a bend in it. Okay. Now this screen, the way that it's mounted to the machine is 1/2 inch, not ½ inch, it's a ½ inch hex head. Looks like maybe a 5/16 bolt that goes through here, and it's on the bottom of the screen over here, and that's what holds it in place. But as you can see, right, we've got a little bit of a bend in this, so something happened. You bend in a piece of looks like 1/8 inch, maybe 3/16 steel. To bend it like this had to be a pretty good amount of force. So I don't know what the hell, you know, somebody might have put a you know, a hickory baseball bat down the chute or something like that, and it didn't respond too well. So anyways, I've got to take a look at this. And I spun the rotor, or the flywheel. I spun this around a couple times. The bearings seem good. You know, actually, I just feeling it feels a little dry. So these bearings on either side of this rotor, you got one over here under this cap. There's another one down under here. The Zerk fittings, grease fittings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease that up. But I'm going to take a good look at the flails here, at these cutter knives, and the knives for the chipper that are over in here before I put this back together. But even before we do that, I want to fix the main problem, and that's down in here. So I'm taking covers off so I can get at these pulleys, and what I want to do is put them back into alignment. When the belt came off, it hit this guard over here, it's bolted onto the motor and it bent a little bit, so it pinched the pulley right at this. It pinched the belt into the pulley at this point right here. So once I get the belt off and everything, I may have to pull the motor back. I want to bend this bracket back into place. Idler pulley, the idler pulley looked okay. You know, they're usually dry like that. I'll you know, grease the spring and the levers over here before we put it all back together. This cover is covering the lower pulley, so I'm taking that cover off right now. There's 3 nuts that loosen up. Looks like the stud is welded into the back plate of the rotor, so makes it a little bit easier on this end. And they're lock nuts that they use. You can see the plastic insert there. It's a locked nut. I love those things. And so you can see down here there's a lower pulley. So what I'm going to do is get this belt off. And one of these pulleys is loose. Well, I got to find out which one it is. So I've got to get out my Allen set screws. The set screws that will tighten the pulley onto the key, which is in the keyway. You can see there's a woodruff key down here and the square cut out on the shaft, the rotor shaft. It's also half cut out onto the shiv, right? Then the woodruff key goes in. There's a couple of set screws on the other side over here that you need an Allen head wrench for. And so I'm going to get in there and take a look at that. Yeah, I just saw something interesting on this chipper. As I was down here taking off the cover on the pulley, I looked at this wheel over here, right? And there's the valve stem for the air. And then I look at this tire over here, and I see the grease fitting. Right? And the air stem is on this side over here. So it's those press fit caps. I'm not sure which is the right way. I mean, it's nice to have access to the Zerk fit, and usually the Zerk fit is on the inside. So I think this wheel here is on backwards. I'll have to take a look at an exploded view, and or maybe one of my viewers could tell me which way it goes. Oh, manufacturer. Look at this, a manufacturing tag right here. It's from Fargo. Right? It's a chipper from Fargo. What does that tell you? Alright, still working on getting the belt out of here, and as you can see, if you look down in here, there's only about a 1/4 inch of space between the crankshaft and this housing, and the belt isn't going to slide past it. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to loosen up the 4 motor mounts. I don't think I'm going to take it off all the way. I'm just going to loosen them up so I can pull the motor back just a little bit to allow the belt to slip by. This is one of my favorite wrenches. It's a snap-on with the socket on the end, 1/2 inch open end. I love this thing. Had it for decades. And get it with the socket underneath. Alright, now we got 4 of them loosened up. Let's see what that does. Okay, gives us a little bit of wiggle room down here. I should be able to slide the belt past that. There we go. Up and out. There's our belt. Alright guys, I was just looking at the looking for the date of manufacture on this so I can order a belt, and I come over here and I'm taking a look, and you know, just making another observation. Initially I thought maybe we need to move the shiv that's down the bottom, but the shiv down the bottom is lining up more so with the idler pulley. It looks like it could come over just a little, but if you look at this shiv up here, this guy here on the motor, that's definitely out of alignment with the idler pulley. And the idler pulley's fixed. It's not sliding back and forth. You can see there's a shoulder over here. There's a lock nut over here. So this doesn't move. And this looks like it's in the exact place where it should be. So, you know, I'm going to focus my attention on this, the motor pulley, and move that back into alignment. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of PB Blaster onto this shaft. And we'll let it set there for a while. These are really nice shivs. They're cast iron as opposed to aluminum. Much higher quality when you get into a cast iron shiv. Alright, so I've got my Allen wrench in here, and going to loosen the set screw, and it was already loose. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it out and I'm going to put some blue Loctite on that screw. I don't know if this machine has excessive vibration. I'm sure it does. So what I'm going to do is reposition this this pulley now. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to have to take the motor off to move this shiv back into place, because it sits in there pretty good. I don't want to try whacking it with a hammer or anything like that. It's easy enough to take the motor off. So what I'm going to do before I do that is, I've got a flat edge here, a straight edge, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it across the pulley on the bottom so it's touching both sides, the upper and lower part of the shiv, so it's like a parallel plane coming up along here. And you can see the space right in here. It's about 5/8 of an inch, okay? So that's how much I'm going to move this shiv back towards the motor, shiv that's on the crankshaft. Okay, again, so what I'm doing is I'm putting it flat across 2 points on the shiv on the bottom, so I'm transferring that dimension up to the top shiv, and I can see how much I have to move this one back to get the two of them on the same plane. So again, I've got about 5/8 of an inch in here that I've got to make up. This edge here, back 5/8. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scribe right along the outside edge where the pulley is located. That way there, I'll know when I loosen this up. I may have to pull it off, clean the shaft a little bit to get it to go back. And if I have to do that, I might lose that scribe, but with that little ding on there, that should help. It's not going to help getting it off, but it's going to help me to locate the mark. That way there, I'm going to know exactly where the pulley was and how far I have to go in with it, which is 5/8 of an inch. I'm just going to go around. I'm hitting it with the plastic hammer, and it is moving. Okay, so I don't have to pull it off. So I'm going to bring this in 5/8 of an inch. And I'm watching the keyway here too, this Woodruff key. I think I'm going to have to, I'm going to get a punch and I'm going to move that in a little bit. There we go. I'm already in about 1/4 of an inch. And again, I'm just eyeballing this. There's a 1/2 inch right there. And that's 5/8 right there. Alright, so I'm going to punch the Woodruff key in. Again. I'm looking for full contact all the way across, right? And I don't see it in the back yet, so let me pop it in a little bit more. Okay, and it's just coming out the back right now. So I'll leave this excess in the front here. Now again, there's 2 set screws on here that hold this shiv onto the crankshaft. One of them that's on punches down onto the Woodruff key right here, and there's another one right over here. So they were both loosened to do this task. And again, like I said, what I might do is actually what I'm pretty sure I'm going to do is I'm going to put some blue Loctite on these 2 screws, because I don't like the fact that they were loose. I'm going to take the set screw right out, and let's clean it off a little bit. and I'm going to put some blue Loctite on it. Okay. And I'll do the same with the other one. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to grease the two main bearings that are on the rotor shaft, or flywheel shaft, whatever they call it. You can see I've got my grease gun here. I put down a piece of cardboard on my Oriental rug. Everybody should have a rug like this in your garage. This is, I ordered it came right from Persia. No, actually it probably came from Target. But it's nice to have a carpet to roll around on. So I try to keep the grease off it. There's your the shiv on the bottom, and the grease fitting is right behind it. So what I did was I already wiped it off with a clean rag, and now I'm gonna just give it a couple of squirts. Okay. This is your other bearing right here. You can see I've already cleaned off the grease fitting. So let's pop that grease gun on there and get some grease into this bearing as well. Okay. Okay, now we'll spin the rotor a little bit and let that work in. So what I'm going to do now is, you know, I'm waiting on the V-belt. I ordered it from the local parts store. It won't be until this afternoon. So I'm going to take a look at all these flails in here and the cutting knives, the chipping knives, to see what kind of a state they're in. Yeah, so I noticed the spaces. You know, some of these spaces are pretty free, right? You can see they're moving around freely. This row right here, they're all rusted, okay? So I'm gonna give that a little extra penetrating oil. All this stuff should be, you know, running pretty free. So let me get a little more penetrating oil in there. And then with the other oil, it should just work itself right in. Yeah, what I might do is grab a pair of pliers and I'll get those moving around. Yeah, so my suggestion to you would be, if you have one of these screens that's you know, damaged from, you get a lot of stuff going through the chipper, and these things can get banged up pretty good. Rocks, you know, hardwood, whatever. If you're fighting it, if it's a struggle every time to get the screen in and out to get at your knives, you might want to invest a little bit of time and straighten it out. They straighten out fairly quickly, and this thing fits in there nice now. Well, while we're at it, I'm going to do a little PM on it. I've got a new spark plug here, right? I'm going to check the gap. 30 thousandths. Okay, looks good. And we'll just pop this guy in. Now when you're installing a spark plug, okay, always start by hand and go slow. Take your time with it. Make sure that the threads are engaged properly. don't ever put a ratchet or a wrench on the socket to start it, because a lot of your cylinder heads, it's aluminum. They're aluminum and they strip out very easily. The spark plug is steel, the head is aluminum. The aluminum loses the match every time. Okay, and we're going to torque it to, yep, just right. There you go. Pop the boot on, take a look down the barrel, looks good. Okay. So we're going to put on a new belt, and what I have here is, this was the cross reference. It's a Napa 5L29OW, 29 inches on the OD, the outside diameter of the belt. Well, when we started out, we were looking at the pulleys. I'm not sure if you can see this, but you can see that the pulleys are in alignment now. So I'm going to pop this belt on. You know, I'll tell you what I really like about this machine is they use lock nuts on just about everything, and they don't slip off. It's got the plastic insert, and these things are great for not losing hardware, having something vibrate loose. And I'm sure this machine vibrates. Okay, so while I'm under the machine here, working on it, I looked up and I noticed, I'm looking underneath, you know, this is your pull starter right here. You've got your fan cowl here. I noticed all this stuff in here, right? Right up in here. It looks like, you know, wool, basically. So that's telling me that there was probably a mouse inside this motor. So before I even attempt to start the motor, I'm going to take the shroud off, right, and clean this thing out. There's a few things you have to do to get this the shroud off. You've got this plastic cover here that's in the front of the motor. There's 3 screws that hold that in. You have to take off the screws that hold the shroud on. This cover here that holds the air cleaner in place. I just loosened up these 2 screws here that hold the carburetor in. I'm hoping to not take it out, just to kind of loosen it and give myself enough clearance to without taking the carburetor. I don't want to take the carburetor off. I don't have to. I'm thinking I can just loosen this, and this shroud will pull by it. That's what I'm hoping. And there it is. Okay, so look at. This is what was inside the motor before I started it. Jesus, I'm glad I didn't start the damn thing. The guy said to me, he goes, you know, when I bought it, he said, I can start it up. And I took his word for it that it was going to run. I pulled it over, it was free, and I knew it had compression, so it couldn't have been anything really bad if there was anything wrong. Inside the shroud, right? I don't know if you can see this in there. Let me put a light on it. It's all mouse crap, right? I don't know how the mice get into these small spaces, but they do. Look at this. Can you imagine now if I started up the motor, right? All this crap was in there. So I'm glad I saw it sticking out. I didn't even suspect it at all because you couldn't really see much. But all right, so I have to get in here and really clean this thing out good. And I'm going to tell you something about this. You know, the motor might have run, but it's going to run hot, because this is how you cool your motor. It's not a water-cooled system like your car is, right? There's no radiators. You've got fans, right? I bought a log splitter. Same situation. The mice got in there. They made a nest. The motor ran, right? The motor was running, but the bearings on the crankshaft was smoked. It was running hot. What's going to happen is your motor is going to run really, really hot with a situation like this. So you got to get the stuff cleaned out. Okay, so I've got all the mouse nesting material out of the motor. So one more thing I noticed, you can see this is a plastic fan right here that's bolted onto the flywheel. And you know, the blades down here, they look pretty good, right? Over here, right, you can see that the mice actually ate away at a couple of the vanes on the fan, right? Make a little more room for them to nest. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try this motor. I'm not going to go water the pot and try to replace that now. I'd like to get this thing up and running. I don't think it's going to affect it too much. I don't use this commercially. I'll be using it as a residential owner. And anything is better than what was there. So I'm going to put this back together, and we're going to start the motor. Basically PM stuff, you know, the air filter looks good. I'm just going to blow it out with the compressor a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. And again, you know, I want to run it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it. I already checked the oil. There's oil in there. It doesn't look too bad. I'm going to run it for a little bit, let it warm up, and then I'm going to change the oil, put some synthetic oil in it. Like I said, the air cleaner looked pretty good. You can see right here it's directional out, right? So the air comes in this way here. This goes towards the carburetor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow from here out. You don't want to go the other way. You don't want to blow air across here. You might be forcing it closer to the carburetor, closer to the motor. You want to blow the air from this side here out. That, but that's the rotor spinning, and that just thing really sings. It sounds really, really good, like it's very well balanced. What I have here is a bunch of Bach, right? This is from my firewood that when I split my firewood, I split the Bach off it as best I can. So I've got a wheelbarrow full of Bach, and I'm going to make some Bach Mulch. It's not pine, it's mostly oak and maple. So I'm going to run some of this stuff through here. I've got a wheelbarrow full here. Let's see what we get for a barrel full down there. My wheelbarrow here, it's a 6 cubic foot wheelbarrow. Topped off like this, you know, it might be 9 cubic feet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chip up all this Bach and put it in this barrel right here. So, and yeah, let's see what we get. You know, roughly 8 or 9 cubic feet here. And the barrel, I'm not sure exactly. I didn't do the calculation on it to see what I have for cubic feet there, but I don't even, it's not even going to fill it. Okay, so let's see what we get. Alright guys and girls, so in the end, okay, the barrel is about 3/4 full. We had one that was about half full earlier. I would say 1.25 full of this 32-gallon barrel, right? So the 32-gallon barrel, 125% full, okay? 32-gallon barrel, 125%. Over here, we have the wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow had 8 cubic feet of Bach, okay? So what I want you to do is I want somebody else to do the math for me. I want to know how many cubic feet of Bach Mulch we got from 8 cubic feet of raw Bach, okay? This is our Bach Mulch, 32 gallons, 1.25, right, 125% full, 32 gallons, 8 cubic feet, that's what we started with. And you know what? I don't want mosquitoes out here. I'm not going to do the math. I can do the math. I'm not going to do it. I want you to do the math. Do the math, and there's going to be a prize, okay? I'm going to award a prize to the person that can tell me how many cubic feet of Bach Mulch we have that ran through the shredder. Do the math, and I'm going to get you a prize. Okay guys, when I said I had a prize, man, I wasn't kidding. This is a good one, okay? Right here. This is a certificate of award from the Cladkeeper Tool School. Basically it says you have a full understanding of 7th grade mathematics. Your name will go right here. I'll put your name in here. Basically states that you can convert gallons to cubic feet. It's been signed by Cladkeeper. Okay, we'll put the date in. This will be the date that I received the winning entry. And look, it's got a really nice picture down the bottom here. There's 2 kids with a watering can and the water in a little plant. Okay, this is suitable for framing. You could hang it up in your garage, or, you know, bring it into work, hang it up in the office.